afternoon.
Good afternoon, Destiny. So the recording has begun. I want to say a very special welcome to each and every one of you who made it out this evening. A very special welcome to you all. You made it. This is day 4, week 8. Day 4, week 8. And we coming closer and closer to exam time. I hope y'all are not panicking, but that means that we have to.
I am panicking.
Oh, Alicia say I am panicking. No need to panic. No need to panic. Just need to work. We just need to work harder and stay longer nights and do what we have to do to make sure that we are on point. We ended with this last night, eh? With this question or what?
So,
Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Okay. Oh yes, we
Yes,
did, we
sir.
did, we did because we was on Pythagoras, right? Yeah, that's before we transitioned to this. So I was saying, I think it's Nancy Wax. When do we use Pythagoras theorem? How do we know that it is the case that we should use Pythagoras theorem? And we were saying, anyone can remember, how do we know when to use Pythagoras theorem? How do we know when to use Pythagoras theorem? Anyone can remember?
Um,
Go ahead.
oh, the right angle, triangle or
Yes,
something like that.
when we're dealing with a right angle triangle. What else?
Something with side or
When
something like
both sides, when two sides are given, the
that.
value of two sides are given.
Very good. When two sides are given, and when we have to find what?
The
The third side.
The third side.
the longest.
Right? It don't have to be the longest side, but just the third side. So the criteria for Pythagoras theorem is that we must be dealing with a right angle triangle. We have to be determining a side of a triangle, not an angle. And once we're given two sides of the triangle already, then we could use Pythagoras theorem. And so I want to start off with um, doing the second part of this question. So the first part of the question says, calculate the length of TC, right? The length of TC, that's this red length right there. Now, what I want to do is I want to um, do B. So we did A. That's my arrow. We did A, and now I want to do B. All right. So have
Yes, sir.
have your books out and pens and pencil out so we can deal with this question. So we want here they're asking us for the angle. So let's put this here. So we want the angle BTC. Ha ha ha! Interesting. BTC, does that ring a bell?
Very rings a bell.
Rings a big bell. Maybe persons
Yes, sir.
favor live over BTC.
Me.
Maybe say me.
Cool.
Cooper, you
Because
feel?
alive, no, that's why.
It depends. No, I rather a BT. I mean,
You rather BTC? What it is? BTC or live? Which one?
I rather the BTC box to school.
You rather the BTC box for
But
school?
yeah, but BTC surface always down,
Yeah.
and that's when I have to switch to the live box,
Okay.
and that done. They equal to me.
They equal. Okay. All right. Anyone else? BTC or live?
I got nightmares from BTC.
Oh, we got 9 minutes from BTC. Okay. Ah, boy. Me personally, for what I is do, I prefer drum roll. prefer. I prefer. I really prefer BTC. Honestly, Alive let me down, man.
I agree with you.
Yeah, they let me down big time.
Oh.
Their Wi-Fi box is foolishness, man.
Oh. Hey.
Yeah, so I really prefer I really prefer dashboard.
What you prefer, Mr.
I really
Petit?
prefer alive. I mean BTC. Yeah, I really prefer BTC. At least for what I use. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the angle BTC, interestingly enough, so and both of my phones are BTC, both. And they give me excellent service as a general rule. So I have no problems with them.
One of mine is alive.
Okay. All right.
One of my mommy don't get rid of BTC phone. She have that well too.
Okay. Okay, so we want the angle BTC. Now, so can we use Pythagoras theorem? Can we use Pythagoras
No,
theorem?
sir.
Why?
Because you're trying to find the angle of three sides and you wasn't given the answer.
No. Why? What? Can we use Pythagoras theorem for this? Anyone else? Remember that as you enter, please place flip here or present. Indicate that you're here. Go ahead.
No, because you have the angles of all the sides. I mean the measurement of all the sides.
No, that's not the reason. Why shouldn't we use, and why can't we use Pythagoras theorem for this one? Anyone else? Anyone else? No one else?
I can try
Okay.
because we already found all the sides. We already know all the sides of the triangle and the Pythagoras theorem. We have to find the missing angle.
Close. All right. When we look at the Pythagoras theorem, we have to use it if we are trying to determine a missing side of a triangle, right? That's when we use Pythagoras theorem. We're trying to determine a missing side, okay? Right?
Yes, sir.
If we are trying to determine a missing side, then we use Pythagoras theorem. But here we're not trying to determine a missing side. We're trying to determine a missing angle. See the difference? So since we're trying to determine a missing angle, and not a missing side, we can't use Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Again, we can't use Pythagoras theorem, or we shouldn't use Pythagoras theorem, because Pythagoras theorem is we use Pythagoras theorem when we try to determine a missing side. But here we're not trying to determine a missing side, we're trying to determine a missing angle. So Pythagoras theorem is useless here. Pythagoras theorem cannot help us at all. Alright? It's useless. So which means that we have to use something else. So alright. So we try and determine a missing angle. And I say the angle BTC. Now when they say BTC, the three letters are used to tell us or to indicate which triangle we are using, because there are two triangles. We have this triangle, the smaller one, and we have the bigger one. Now, when they say BTC, they're trying to tell us which triangle that we're supposed to be looking at. And if we're using it by triangle BTC, is that the bigger one or the smaller one?
Smaller one. The smaller one?
The smaller one. Okay, so that's the smaller one. So BTC is the smaller one.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, Nancy. All is well?
Yes, all is well. What about you?
Great. Right? This thing we did in language has been on my mind for a lot today. Like, I can't wait to read the next part. I really can't wait to read the next part. It's amazing, man. Can't wait. Anyway, let's go back to did it stick with anyone? So we read yesterday in language.
Not really.
Not really.
Yes, because I did the definition of the words today.
Okay. Oh, you did your homework. That's good. Compared to other people. Wink, wink.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay.
The only thing is that I just find a way to describe myself now. Like, yeah,
Okay. What's
yeah,
the
like
word? What's the word? What's the word?
see, it ain't. I don't want to share, but like when people describe me now, I could like put it. I could say like, okay, I'm above this now. You know what I mean? Because the way to
Uh,
describe herself, yeah, like I can describe women entirely. You know, I could switch up some things, and
uh,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. That's good, man. I like that. All right. So the angle BTC. So when we say BTC, we are referring to the smaller triangle. So it's gonna be this one. Can you all see my screen?
So
yeah. So
'Cause someone is telling me that they can't see my screen. So B,
I say yes.
T, and C. So this triangle. Okay. Triangle BTC. So this is the triangle that they want us to figure out. Sorry, they want us to turn our attention to. So they tell us triangle B. Sorry, they tell us BTC. They give us 3 letters, so we can know which triangle we are looking at. Secondly, they want us to determine the angle, right? Not angles, but an angle, right? And which angle would we need to determine? B, T, or C?
T.
T. Why T?
T in the middle.
Because it's the unknown.
Because it's the one in the middle, right? So every time you see they have this one where they have BTC or whatever, or however they put it, whatever one that they want you to find, they'll put it in the middle. All right. So clearly they want us to figure out what is T, and you can know that because we already know what B is. What's the measure of B?
90.
90 degrees. And what's the
90.
measure of C?
50.
Mm,
56.
no, not quite, because if we zoom in, right? Can you see that?
I've heard
50,
it's also you
yeah,
minus it, right?
yeah. So it's not quite 56, but um,
50 also.
it's in the 50s. All right. So when we're trying to figure, we don't know what angle T is, and so with this one, we have this is ripe. This is very ripe for sine rule, sine rule. So we gotta use sine rule for this one. Now sine rule says that if this is capital, okay, sorry, let me zoom in on this triangle so as we could have our centers on this triangle so that we would get confused. So let's zoom in on that. And I would advise you to zoom in on these triangles because sometimes you get confused as which one you're looking at. So zoom in on it and label it accordingly. So this is B, capital B. This is capital C, and this is capital T. Now remember what sine rule says. Sine rule says that if this is capital B, then its corresponding side will be what?
Small.
Small b.
Small b.
Very good. Sine rule says that if this is capital C, then its corresponding side will be what?
Small.
Lowercase c.
Very good. And then if this is capital T, its corresponding side will be
Lowercase t.
lowercase t.
Okay.
Good. So this is a right angle. It's very important to note that. Good. And we know what is the length of TC, don't we? We figured that out yesterday. We said that that's what was that? That was 31.5. Was it?
31.5.
31.5. That's extremely long. 31.5. We know what T is. T is 18.9, right? And then we know
That's
what
all.
C is. C is what? 25.
25.
Good. Okay, so with that in mind, let us use the sine rule. So the sine rule says that what we're trying to figure out, remember, we're trying to figure out what is capital T. And that's very important. Since we're trying to figure what is capital T, we have no choice but to put capital T when we begin our sine rule, because we need that as a part of it. And so sine rule says that sine of the given angle, capital T, divided by lowercase t is going to be equal to, now we're not going to use C. The reason why we're not going to use C is because we don't know what the angle here is, right? We're going to use B because we know this angle. We know what the capital B is. And we know what its corresponding side is. So we have to use the ones that we know. So we're going to say sine of capital B over what? Small b. And you may be wondering, well, Mr. Petit, how did you know that? How do you know that these two are true? How do you know that this fraction is equal to this fraction? Well, that's what sine rule tells us. Sine rule tells us that given any triangle, whether it be a right angle triangle or whatever, if we take sine of one angle divided by its corresponding side, that's going to be equal to sine of another angle divided by its corresponding side. That was what sine rule tells us, right? And so let's fill it all in to figure out what is this missing angle. So we know that if we do this, it's going to be equal to, what is capital B? What is capital B?
90.
90 degrees. We know that because of this. This is 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees divided by what is small b?
31.5.
31.5.
31.
31.5. Okay, divide that also. What is t? T is what?
18.9.
18.9. Very good. T is 18.9. And what is capital T? What is capital T?
You don't know that one.
We don't know that one. Very good. We don't know that. That's the missing angle. So sine of capital T. Good. Well, what we could do now is we could figure out what is sine of 90. And we should know that by now, by heart. Sine of 90 is what? What is sine of 90?
One.
1. Okay, and I can show you how we got that. So sine of 90, everyone should know sine of 90 degrees is 1. That's what you just should memorize. And know. Sine of 90 is 1. So let's go and let's do it. So this is gonna be scientific calculator. So sine of 90 degrees. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. Sine of 90 degrees is 1. Is 1. You'll be surprised how much things is equal to 1 in maths. You'll be surprised. You'll be very surprised. Alright, so good. So this is gonna be, so sine of 90 is 1. Good. Next up, what we're gonna do is we are going to cross multiply. So we're gonna multiply 18.9 by 1. Right? What is 18.9 multiplied by 1?
18.9.
18.9.
Very good. 18.9. 18.9 multiplied by 1 is simply 18.9. And what is 31.5 multiplied by sine t?
31.5 T.
31.5 multiplied by sine t. Okay, All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 31.5 because we need to get rid of that. 31.5 on this side, so we're going to divide both sides by 31.5. And so it's going to be 31.5. So these two are going to cancel with each other, and we'll be left with sine of t. And it's going to be equal to 18.9 divided by 31.5. Now you have to be paying attention for this one because we're going to do something. We need to get rid of this sign. We need CT is connected to sine. T is inside this function. I don't know if you could understand that. Like this is what this is. This is sine of t. That's what this really is saying. So t is inside sine. So t is almost like it's in the prison. And the prison it's in is that it's in the sine prison. It's like it's in there. It's connected to it. But we need to take it out of its prison. We need to undo what sine is doing to t, right? And the only way we could do that is if we do what?
Dividing it?
No, you definitely can't divide it.
Multiply?
Sine is a function. Like sine is a function that has t. It has the angle inside of it. So you can't just divide it.
So you multiply both sides by sine?
Sine is a function, not a number.
What?
Yeah. You must take the sine inverse of both sides. Alright, sine inverse of both sides. Now sine inverse is the opposite of sine. And so since that's the case, it's going to cancel out the sine. So alright, so we took the what? Sine inverse of both sides. So what that does is that we are able now to cancel out the sine inverse with the sine. And the reason why we do that is because we wanted to free t. Okay, we wanted t to be outside of this prison. And so now t is outside of this prison. And so t is going to be equal to sine inverse of 18.9 divided by 31.5. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out what the sine inverse of 18.9 divided by 31.5. So let's figure that out. So sine inverse. So you have to use a calculator for this one. So this is symbol. So in your calculator, you're gonna put sine inverse of what? 18.9 divided by what? 31.5. And that's gonna give you
5.4.
36.87.
What? 36.87.
Yeah.
36. Make sure your calculator is in degrees, not in radians. So 36.
Thank you.
Yeah, 36.87 is going to be equal to 36.87. So the missing angle is 36.87 degrees. So the angle BTC is 36.87 degrees. All right. Good. So, familiar or unfamiliar?
Push of a T.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
so the same for Bgcse because you said I use a calculator.
You'll use a calculator. No, not for y'all. Y'all ain't. This is to help you
Okay.
all eventually when you sit
All right.
the Bgcse. Of course, and you're going to take that in grade 10, right? Right, Miss Cooper?
Can you repeat that?
And you're going to take that, and you're going to take the Bgcse in grade 10?
Maybe.
Say maybe. Yeah, I think you'll do well. Yeah, you learn all these stuff. Might as well. But
Yeah. Okay. All right.
yeah, but this is more unfamiliar territory for a lot of us. But I've done this before, though. Done this before.
Yes, so you did. Quick
Yeah, so
question. How I still having issues like I know the how to apply the formula just that I can't recognize when to use it.
Okay, so when to use this formula? Okay, that's what you're saying. But it stands out. It stands out right out for us, right? Um, okay. Think about it like this. What all things we needed for this formula to work? Well, we needed an angle, B, right? We needed a corresponding side, and we needed another side with a corresponding angle, right? So once you have that, you straight. Like, so if like so say for example we didn't know what t was. Let's say if we didn't know what this t was, then we couldn't use the sine rule, because in order to find this missing angle, we need to at least know what its corresponding side is, right? And let's say if we didn't know what b was, then we couldn't use this, because we need to know what this angle is going to be and its corresponding side. So for sine rule, a lot of things have to be in place. Like, you need to know what its side is. You need to know the corresponding angle, and then you need to know what is the length of another side, but you don't have to know what is the angle of what is the corresponding angle. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm understanding.
Okay, so that's how we know when to use it. Okay, we don't know what this angle is, but we have so much things that we have. We have an angle and a corresponding side that we know. And we have a side. All we're missing is the angle. And so we're ready to go with the sine rule. Alright. So that was unfamiliar territory for a lot of us. But hopefully over time, as we continue to do questions like this, you do it. You have to understand this if you want to do well in your exam. This particular question, you must know it. Like, there's no doubt that it's coming on your exam. It comes every year. And so you have to become very familiar with Pythagoras' theorem. You have to become very familiar with sine rule, right? Those things are, you can't run away from them. Okay? So make sure become familiar with them. Okay. What is this? Okay. Alright, so where were we? Sorry. And Jeremiah. Okay, so I think we was here. Let me move all these tabs. So we did this yesterday. We was on this one. Okay, so let's get back to familiar territory. Oh wow, what did I just do? Okay, let's go. Alright, I think this will be good. Oh, they love these type of questions. These questions are like taking candy from a baby.
Probability.
Say it again? Oh, this ain't probability.
Then
No, this is
I said ain't no probability on this paper.
I'm not sure. You like probability?
Something like that.
Something like that? Yeah, probability nice. Okay, so let's go. So this is gonna be.
I mean, I enjoy doing it.
Oh, please send me the notes on this one. This was a very heavy one. I want to see how y'all did it. Send me the notes on this one. And no one asked me no more questions on this, so I guess everybody understand it.
No way to do something on that.
Oh, some review, some deep review, and practice for sure. Elijah. Okay, so let's go. All right, so I think of a number. I don't know what this number is, but I think of a number and I call it n because I don't know what it is. And then I add 4, right? So I think of a number n, I add 4 to that number. Excuse me. Now I multiply their sum by 2. Write an expression to show this. Try it. I think it's a good one for you all to try. I think of a number and I add 4 to that number. Now I multiply their sum by 2. Write an expression to show this. Any answers for me?
4n times 2.
Say it again.
4n times 2.
No, that's not correct.
Uh,
Read it slowly.
Oh, 4 plus. n plus 4 times 2. A bracket times 2.
Yes, very, very, very true. So,
I thought you could have added
so it says, definitely. So I think of a number, call it n. So this is the number I'm thinking about, n, right? I don't know what the number is. At least I don't want to tell you what the number is. So I say, you know what, let's say it's n. Then I add what? What are I going to add to it?
4.
4, very good.
4.
Now they say it's something very important. They say, now I multiply their sum. So that means the whole thing. Not just the 4 or not just the n, but the whole thing I'm going to multiply by what? So then I'm going to multiply by what?
2.
Okay. All right. And so that is the answer. This is the correct answer, right? Now the kind of professional way to write it is 2 open bracket n plus 4. Sorry, n plus 2. N plus 4, sorry, n plus 4. So they mean the same thing.
Mr. Petit, do you have to put the brackets?
Have to. Because, and that's exactly what I just explained. It says I multiply their sum. Their sum. So the two of them, the sum of it, like the addition. If you don't put the brackets, then it'll just say that you multiplying 4 by 2. But no, you adding it first.
Okay.
Then you multiplying it by 2. So this one could work, or this one could work. It doesn't matter. You know, Tom is not no bigger sinner than Harry. Both of them works. Alright? Good. Now I wonder if they want us to simplify this thing. Because for 2 points.
They need to write an expression.
They write an expression. I mean, it wouldn't be simplified. This is factorized. And no, it's good. It wouldn't be simplified. Alright, good. So either one works. I just feel like this makes more sense. This one makes more. You could feel it more. You could touch it more. This one is what you write after you write this. But I feel like this one is more. You could actually see the multiplication. You could see the grouping. You can see the 2. Like it's in your face. You can see what's going on. This one is like, are they multiplied by each other? What's happening now? But they are multiplied by each other. 2 is multiplied by n plus 4. All right. So that's pretty straightforward, eh? That was a question.
Yes.
I didn't get to write all of it.
Okay, you want me? Okay. No problem. If you don't get it right, please let me know. Just like Ricardo. Ricardo's be like, Mr. Petit, hey, hold up. I ain't finished. So don't be shy. And I know you ain't shy, Miss Bodie. All right.
Thank you.
Problem. What his name is? One, you have to show where you took the sine inverse of both sides. Please show that. All right. Make sure I show that in your working. Thank you, Conrad. Thank you, Miss Cooper. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Mikkel. All right, so pretty straightforward stuff. Next up is my result is 48. Form an equation to show this. And then solve the equation. Define the number I first thought of. So my result is 48, okay? And so we need to form an equation to, you know, to solve, sorry, we need to form an equation to show it and then solve our equation. So let's do that. So if we were to form an equation, remember what we had in the beginning initially, 2 open bracket n plus 4. So it's going to be 2 open bracket n plus 4 and that's going to be equal to what?
48.
It's equal to 48. Now we want to solve this particular equation. And so this is what it's going to be, 2 open bracket n plus 4 equals to 48. What we're going to do, we're going to take this 2 and we're going to multiply it by n. We're going to multiply it by 4. And so we are really left with 2 times n, which is 2n, and 2 times 4, which is what?
8.
8.
8.
It's going to be equal to 48. The next thing we do is we send the 8 over the equal sign. So it's going to be what? 2n.
Negative.
Yes, sir. 2n
Becomes a negative.
equals 48. This was positive 8. Now when we send it over, it becomes a negative 8.
Negative.
And so we are left with what? 2n equals, what is 48 minus 8?
40.
40, indeed. What do we do at this point?
We divide by 2 to get
Put
n
the
plus
numbers
4.
over 2.
Divide both
Put the
sides.
numbers over 2. 2 is good.
And so n is going to be equal to, what is 40 minus 2? 40 divided by 2.
20.
20.
20.
Good. And so the number that I thought about, so I could easily check this too. So I could check it. So I think of a number. What's the number I'm thinking about?
48.
No. I think of a
20.
number, 20.
Oh, 20.
I add 4 to it. Then I multiply their sum by what?
2.
By 2.
2.
What is 20 plus 4?
24.
24.
What is 24 times 2?
48.
48.
So are we right?
Yes, sir.
It's
Sure.
it's routine. I just think
You could just.
I just divide. I just divide and then I say
Mm-hmm.
and I get 24, so then I just say 20 because they say you have to add up 4 to n.
What you do?
Like when I saw it say my results is 48, I just divide um 48 by 2 and then I get 24. And then something to say n plus 4,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so the n, I just subtract 4 from 20 and then I get that.
Okay, you subtract 4 from 24.
So
Okay. Alright, so this is how we do it. The algebraic way. Any questions on this, by the way?
no sir.
No, sir? Familiar or unfamiliar?
Half and half.
Maria.
Half and half.
Familiar.
Alright. Yeah, we know you can, and you're a math whiz. When you take your Bgcse's Kennedy and in grade 5,
Well, you see, yeah, I did, and I failed, so we gotta do this
you
again.
gotta do it again. Alright. Uh, but definitely keep it up. Alright. Can I move this?
Yes, sir.
Alright, awesome. Alright. Alright, straightforward. Star. Let's move on to another one. Okay, good. So let's go to this one.
What's it with T?
Yes, ma'am.
Um, my bad. I didn't get the next question.
Oh, you didn't get the next question. Okay, no problem. Which one? You mean number 13?
No, to solve your
Oh,
something.
okay. Solve your equation to find the number you first start out. Let's see how much points this is all for. This is 3, 5, 6. So all the 6 points. So make sure you know how to do that.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so Farmer Smith and Farmer Thompson. It's interesting. It's interesting that these are farmers. I just had to print out some farming pictures for someone who I know. Um, so we have a pickaxe, or what you call this? A pitchfork? I don't know.
Yeah.
And we have a wheelbarrow. And so Farmer Smith sells oranges at 50 cents each. This is Farmer Smith. And then Farmer Thompson sells his his oranges rather for $4 for $2.20. See, you get 4 for $2.20. So the saying is, okay, farmer sells oranges at 50 cents each. Calculate the cost of 1 dozen oranges from Farmer Smith. What is a dozen?
$6.
12.
12. Someone have an answer already?
12.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, you say 12. Well, I don't know. This is my first time doing these questions, so I haven't done this paper before. So let's see. Alright, so 50 cents each, right? And you're trying to figure the cost of 1 dozen. So it's going to be, cost of 1 dozen. So cost, alright, cost of 1 dozen oranges equals what? 50 cents.
$6. Or cost of a dozen, you say,
A dozen.
is 12 times 50 cents,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
give you $6.
Okay, 12 times. Sorry, 50 cents times 12. Reason it's times 12 because, well, if we get 1 orange, that's 50 cents. 2 oranges, that's 2 times 50. 3 oranges, that's 3 times 50. So 12 oranges is going to be 12 times 50 cents. And it's 0.5. So when you're doing the actual multiplication for those persons who are doing it by hand, you cannot use 50. You have to use 0.5.
0.5.
Yes, so it's going to be 12 times 0.5. And so it's going to be 5 times 2 is 10.
10.
Put the 0 down, put the 1 up. 5 times 1 is
5
5.
plus 1,
plus 1
6.
is 6. Very good. Put the 0 as the placeholder. 0 times 2 is
0.
0. 0 times 1
Yeah.
is 0.
0.
We add these. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. And we put the 0 in. We could put the 0 in front, but that doesn't matter because, I don't want to be confusing. So we leave it like that. Then we only have one decimal place, so we only have to put one decimal place right now. So that's gonna be what? $6.
Or you can even say, use the 12 time tables and say 5 12 is 60 and be $6.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the cost of 1 dozen oranges from Farmer Smith, is $6. Okay, so moving right along, we have to determine. So Farmer Thompson sells oranges at 4 for $2.20. Calculate the cost of 1 dozen oranges. I love how they do this question. Very good way how they set this up. Do you love these type of questions? Better buy questions. Who has the better buy? And what they basically did is they show you how to determine who has the better buy. But anyway, when we reach that question, I'll really explain it more. Okay. So calculate the cost of a dozen oranges from Farmer Thompson. So it's gonna be cost of. Did anyone get any answer for this one? Cost of 1 dozen oranges. So we know that 4 is for $2.20. So if we have a dozen, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is 12 oranges. We know that this 4 is for how much?
220.
$2.20.
Very good. We know that this 4 is for how much?
220.
220. And we know that This 4
220.
is for 220, okay? So how are we gonna figure the answer? We're gonna say what?
Out all the three.
You can add them.
220, or you can multiply
Or
them
you can multiply
Multiply them by 3.
220 by 3, or you can add them.
Yes. So 220 times 3 is what?
Six. Two, six.
$6.60.
$6 and what?
60 cents.
Okay,
You said.
60 cents. 3 times.
Adding is easier, sorry.
So you say adding is easier?
For that one. I mean, because you laid them like you said.
Oh, I laid them as okay. I already did the work. Okay. So $6.60. So that is how much the cost um for a dozen of Farmer Thompson oranges. And so they ask a very important question in terms of economical cost. This is very important. When they ask these questions, who has the better buy? Don't try to be technical. They just talking about in terms of cost, right? Not in terms of which farm is farther, like us, is further to my house, or how much gas I have to spend in order to get the farmer. No, 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 no. In terms of price and price alone, who has the better buy?
Smith,
Why?
because as you contrast
Go ahead, Kennedy.
the $6.60, it's 60 cents less, so it's Farmer Smith's.
Definitely. So Farmer Smith on is $6 and Farmer Thompson on is $6.60. So the better buy is Farmer Thompson. Now, the only thing is that it may seem that Farmer Smith has prices higher because you're saying what, I get whole 4 for 220? But and we say, but this man charging me 1 for 50 cents. Yeah, but he has the better buy. His on eventually if we like say we do say for the same amount of money, so for the same amount of, and that's very important when we're trying to do comparisons. You can't do comparisons without considering the same amount. This is a very important question. I like how they lay it out. The reason why I like how they lay it out is because sometimes all they do is they say Farmer Smith has 50 cents, Farmer 50 cents for one, and Farmer Thompson has 4 for 220. And all they say, they go straight directly to the third question. Who has the better buy? Right? And so you would have to know that, hey, you would have to first determine or calculate a set number, an equal set number for each of them. So you would first have to say, okay, well, this one only telling me how much for one. This one only telling me how much I could get. This one telling me that I could get 4 for a certain price. So I can't do no comparison if this is talking about 1, this is talking about 4. In order for me to do an effective comparison, I must be dealing with the same amount. Alright? It's very important for who has the better buy. So for who has the better buy question, you have to determine you have to bring it down to the same amount of of um of of the item. Okay, otherwise you would get a bad understanding or bad result. So in this case, the same amount was 12, and so when we did that, we were able to correctly say that, hey, Farmer Smith actually has the better buy. So remember, for better buy questions, make sure that we're dealing with the same amount of the item. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright, good. Farmer Smith. Alright. Someone's asking to join. Alright, welcome, Lionel. This is a good time to take the register. Okay, so moving right along. So the next question is, what is the difference in cost? What is the difference in cost for 60 cents? Good. What is the difference in cost? It's gonna be $6 minus
Means $6.60 minus $6.
yeah, so difference in cost is gonna be equal to $6.60, which is Farmer Thompson's price, the minus $6, which is Farmer Smith's price. That's equal to 60 cents. So the correct answer is 60 cents. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, great. Familiar, unfamiliar?
Familiar.
Yeah,
Familiar.
that good, Mr. Good
No, here.
Oh,
Familiar.
familiar.
Let me get that good, Mr. Good.
Sure, no problem.
Hey, Fema.
Right. Okay, so that's pretty good. Right, so let's move over to what may be unfamiliar to us. So we already finished this one. So remember, for these questions, you need to know Pythagoras theorem. You need to know Pythagoras theorem. You need to know sine rule. You need to know sine rule. Now, for the height of the antenna, we want the height of the antenna, AT. The height of the antenna, AT. Okay. So what we really want is we want the height of the antenna, AT. So AT is this particular line segment out. This one. So we have to play it very smart. We have to be very smart with this question. Very smart with this question. So we have to know that it carries the most weight, right? So we have to really think with these questions. One thing with these things, like you'll become better if the more you do practice questions, the more you see how it's gonna be, how we solve problems like these. It's like a lot we doing this today. So AT, the way I solve something like that is that alright, so let me so the height of the antenna, AT. Alright, so we're trying to figure out what is the length of this antenna. So we're trying to figure out, alright, so we're trying to figure out what is the length of this guy right there. What is this length? So that's the real, question, to be honest. How can we figure out that length? Any ideas on how we could figure out what is that length? Any ideas for me?
Are we still like, it's just a guess.
Okay.
Do we find the upper side for A and then minus it from T? So like we have like, don't we first have to find A C, then we'll minus it from A from T? It's just,
AC? Why would you want to find AC?
I mean like the angle, like the angle itself, like the height, like the length of it.
You kind of on the right track, but you're missing some essentials. But you're kind of on the right track.
Okay.
Notice that. We'll be trying any other ideas before I spill the beans. How can we?
I never saw it.
We never saw it. How can we find angle AB? Sorry, not angle. Very important. Not angle, but length.
The height,
Right?
the length.
So
AB minus BT.
very good. Very good. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what we need to do. See, we have AB. AB is the length of this entire line. If we can figure out what this entire line is, all we need to do is subtract it from what BT is, right? And then we'll get what AT is. Is that clear? Or I need to explain it again.
You can repeat that?
Like we know we're trying to find AT. We're trying to find this particular one. This particular, length. We're trying to find what that is. Right? But this is part of something. This is part of a whole line. This is part of the whole line AB. Right? That's what it's part of. So this small little part is a part of the whole line AB. Right? So if we could find out what is the length of the entire line AB, right? We can figure out the length of this entire line AB. If we could figure out this line, the length of this entire line, if we know what the length of this entire line is, then all we need to do is subtract it from the 25.2, which is this. And once we subtract it from this, right, then we'll move all that, and so we'll be just left with this part that we want, right, the red part. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Well, I need to explain it again.
One more time, please.
One more time. Okay, good. We want to figure out what is the length of, what is the measure or length of AT, the same red part. Okay, you understand that?
Yes, sir.
We also understand that this length AT, it is a part of another line segment. So AT forms a fraction or a part of the line segment AB. Okay, so basically, if we were to put it flat, sorry, if we were to put it flat, we could see that if this is AB, it's the length of the entire line AB. Sorry. This is the length of the entire line AB. But only a small portion, this red part, sorry, let me do it another way. Let me do it as BA. So only a small part, then let's say T here. So if we look at this line segment, we just want to figure what the red part is, right? We just want to figure what the red part is, just like this. We're just trying to figure what the red part is. we already know what from T to B is. That's what? How much? How much that is?
25.
25.2.
25.2. Now, if we already know what this part is, which is 25.2, we already know what that is. If we could figure what is the length of AB, right? If we could figure out what is the length of the bigger one, all we need to do is subtract this length, the length of the bigger one, from this length, and then we'll be left with just this. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Cooper, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's the general idea. We want to figure out what this length AC is. So we need to take the bigger length, the big length AB, figure what that is. Once we figure out what that is, then we subtract it from what the smaller length TB, and that should give us, we should be left with just a small length here. I hope that makes sense for y'all.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so with that in mind, let's figure out what AB is. Alright, AB. Now AB, we're dealing with the bigger triangle or the smaller triangle now?
The bigger
Bigger
one.
one.
The bigger one. Alright, so we have to make sure I bear that in mind. So we're gonna zoom in for the bigger one. So it's gonna be A, B, C. It's gonna be the angle. It's gonna be 56. And this is going to be 18.9. 18.9. So here, they are forcing us. They are forcing our hands right now. Can we use Pythagoras theorem?
Yes, I think we can.
No.
Can we? No. No.
I think so. I go with yes.
You think so? Let's look at the criteria for Pythagoras theorem. Remember, for Pythagoras theorem, one of the main criteria we need is that we must be what?
Given two sides.
Given two sides. Are we given two sides? That's the question. Let's go back. Are we given two sides of this triangle?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes? One sense.
No.
And we have yen. Oh no, sorry.
See, this 25.2 is only from B to T. Right? That's not from A to B. So be careful. This 25.2 only from B to T. So we don't know what is the length of AB. In fact, that's what we're trying to find. So we can't use Pythagoras theorem. Can we use sine rule?
Yes.
That's the thing. We can't even use sine rule.
No.
Because for sine rule you need an angle and a known side. And then you need an angle and an unknown side. We have the unknown side and we have the angle, but we do not have if we didn't know what this angle is, if we knew what this was, we could have used sine rule, but we don't know that. So we can't use sine rule. So that means that we are forced to use SOHCAHTOA, which I really did not want us to use. So we are forced to use the trig ratios, which I thought we could avoid, but it come back to haunt us. So we are forced to use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Alright, so for SOHCAHTOA, notice we have OH, AH, OA. All that means is that for SOHCAHTOA, you have to know what O means, what H means, what A means. Now, O is for what we call the opposite side. O is for the opposite side of the right angle triangle. And the opposite side is going to be the side that is opposite the angle. So this is the opposite. Okay? So O is this one.
Wait, you can say that over.
O is the opposite side. So opposite side is always the side that is opposite the given angle. So we have the angle here, the given angle here, and its corresponding side is O.
Okay.
That's the opposite. Then we have H. H is the hypotenuse. That's the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the longest side. Okay, hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is the longest side. Now the hypotenuse is the longest side, so that's gonna be AC. This is always the hypotenuse. This is always the longest side. These other ones are not longest. The longest side is always the side that connect them two together. So it's gonna be H. So O is the opposite, H is the longest side, the hypotenuse, and A is going to be the one that's left. When you finish, figure out what the opposite and hypotenuse is. That's the adjacent, right? It's adjacent side. Now, the adjacent side is the side that's going to be adjacent to your right angle. So it's going to be capital A. It's usually at the bottom here. The way I remember it is that it's always the one that's left after I figure what O is and H is, because only 3 sides. Okay, now we have to be very wise. What is the side that we're trying to figure out? Like, what is the missing side we're trying to figure out?
Opposite.
Opposite.
The AB, right? Because AB, if we know what AB is, we just can subtract it from 25.2 and that's going to give us 18. So we need to figure out what is the opposite. That's AB, right? So good, that's important. What side? So we know what side we're trying to find. That's AB. Now, what side are we given? That's 2 things. We know what side we're trying to find. That's O. Now, what side are we given?
Adjacent side.
The adjacent side. We're given the adjacent. So it's very important. So that will tell you which one of these you can use. We know that we are trying to find the opposite, and we know that we are given the what? The adjacent. And so we need to find something involving O and what? And A.
On A.
Alright, so which one of these has O and A in it?
TOA.
TOA.
A.
See that? O and A. Alright, so TOA is an abbreviation for tan theta. Theta is the given angle. Equals to what? O, which is the opposite.
Opposite over adjacent.
over adjacent.
Good. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to. So we have that now. What is theta? Theta is the given angle. What's the given angle that we are given?
56.
56.
8.
56 is the angle that we are given. 56. And it's gonna be equal to O. We don't know what O is. That's what we're trying to find. What is A?
18.9.
18.9.
18.9. Very good. 18.9. Then we're gonna divide both sides by. So we're gonna divide by 1 and then cross multiply. So there's gonna be 1 times O. What it's gonna give me what?
No.
1 times O is 1
One
over O, right?
Oh.
And then 18.9 times tan of 56. That's what O is. Tan of 56. And so O is going to be equal to 18.9 times tan of 56. What is 18.9 times tan of 56? So here you have to use the calculator. So it's going to be equal to what? 18.9 times tan multiplied by tan. Tan is a function that you have on your calculator. Tan of what? 56. And that's going to be equal to 28.02. So that's 28.02. So 28.02 meters. And so therefore AB, right, this length, the length of this entire thing, right, this length of this entire thing is going to be equal to what?
28.02.
28.02. But the question only asks us to figure out what is AT. So AT, so thus AT is going to be equal to what?
28.02 minus 25.2.
Good. The big one, the big long one, 28.2. 0.02, sorry, minus the shorter distance, 25.2. What does that give us?
2.82.
What does that give us? So 28.02 minus 25.2 is going to be, it's going to be 2.82. Very good. 2.82. So the length of, or the height of the antenna is 2.82 meters. All right. Familiar or unfamiliar?
Familiar.
Familiar.
You know what my answer is?
I'm familiar with the formula.
Yeah,
Unfamiliar.
unfamiliar. Okay. All right. But easy, medium, or hard? do you guys think?
Medium.
Medium once you apply it.
Medium.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, once you know what you're doing, you have to be. The thing is, the only way you can get skill at it is to want to practice. Like I remember doing like a ton of practice with these stuff, just doing it over and over and over and over and over again. You know, even getting frustrated. But it after a while it sticks. You know, so that's the way. Just do a lot of exercises with it. Thought someone was asking to join. Okay, can we move from that, or are we still writing?
I'm done.
We're done? Okay. Okay, so moving right along. So let's go on. Our time almost up. 7:30 already. Okay, they love the
What?
they love the brain these ones. Okay, so it says calculate the size of the angles marked by letters in the figures below. Calculate the size of the angles marked by letters in the figures below. So the first one is D. Okay, so how do you propose that we do D? In fact, try doing D. Try to give you 2 minutes to figure what D is.
$20.
20. Anyone else? She says you got 20. All right. Okay, so what is the rule that we have to use for this question? Which rule is gonna be?
All triangles out of 280.
Say it again.
The interior of a triangle.
So I heard someone started to say it, and I let me add that.
Interior of a triangle adds up to 180.
Very good. So the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So what that means is that this angle inside, this angle inside, and this angle inside, all of them, when we add them up, the angles on the inside of a triangle now, they must add up to 180 degrees. That's the rule. That the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Okay. Now that we have that. Oh, I don't see any notes from the previous one. Please send me the notes from that. Send me the notes from that. Especially for those who are not speaking inside the chat. Make sure to send your notes, please. Thank you, Miss Averonique and Timonique. So please send your notes for me, please. Send them in so I can see that you're following along. Thank you, Conrad. All right, so the rule is that the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And so that means that 120, 140, and D must all add up to 180 degrees. So that means that if I want to figure out what D is, so D is going to be equal to 180 minus the sum of 120 degrees and 40 degrees. Thank you for those who are sending in their notes. It's going to be equal to, so D is going to be equal to 180 minus, what is 120 plus 40?
160.
160. So D is going to be equal to 180 minus 160. What is 180 minus 160?
20.
20. All right, so that's correct. All right, so D is equal to 20 degrees. All right, thank you thank you, Mr. Markfi. Thank you for Nargio Moxie. Thank you. All right, so let's move forward. All right. So we need to figure what this one is. What is P? I'm gonna give you all the opportunity to do it on your own, and you'll tell me what you get. Try it out for me, please. What is P? What is P?
P is 140.
140. Okay. So someone said 140.
I got 142.
140. Alicia said she got 140. 140. So you have two persons who got 140. Anyone else?
I got 140.
Got 140. Okay. That's Dylan, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Dylan. Okay, so let's see. So what is the rule that is appropriate for this particular question?
All angles.
Angle at point equal to 360.
Very good. Angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. And so that means that this angle, which is 100 degrees, this angle, which is 30 degrees. Now, what is this angle?
90 degrees.
90
90 degrees. How do we know that?
It has the box. The
Very
symbols.
It has the box, so this box means 90. So we know that all of them together plus the P, plus this angle P, must add up to 360 degrees. So that means that P is going to be equal to,
Let me see.
yes, mom.
I did that, but the only problem I forgot about the 90. I know.
Okay. So 90 plus 30. So it's also always important to check your work over. Plus 100.
I didn't anymore after everybody got the same answer. I was like, well, that's one.
So 360 minus, what is 90 plus 30?
120.
120.
120. And what is 120 plus 100?
220.
220.
220. Very good. So it's going to be 220. So 360 minus 220. And what is 360 minus 220?
140.
Pardon?
140.
140.
140.
40. So that's our answer right there, 140. So P is going to be equal to 140 degrees.
I did it a different way to make the 140.
What did you do?
30 plus 100 gives you 130, then subtracted by 180, then plus it by 50. You get 50, then plus that by 90, then you get 140.
Say it again.
30 plus 100 equals 130. Subtracted by 180 gives you the answer 50. Then plus that by 90, then you get 140.
Oh, interesting. Why did you take 100 and 130 and subtract it by 180? That was just a guessing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't advise you to do it that way, because it just happened that we got the answer this time, the same answer, but that doesn't mean it always will work with your way. But this way is always the right way. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. So next up is so let's go back here. So it's gonna be, so we already got this one. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our unfamiliar questions. Is this what we used to? Yeah, okay, so we use here. Okay, so we finish the length of TC, we finish the angle BTC, we finish the height AT. That's good. Alright, so did we ever do these questions? We ever factorize it?
Yes, sir, but we never did the last one.
We never did the last one. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I remember we did factorize, and I did teach y'all how to do this one. So let's factorize.
Yes, sir.
Let's simplify this particular one. Try it though. Try it on your one. This one, 3 points. So let's see. Give it a knock. All right. So let's see how we want to operate with this. So we have 13 minus, excuse me, 3t plus 5 plus 4t. Okay, so I'm going to do it on my side here. So we have 13 minus 3 open bracket t plus 5 close bracket plus 4t. Alright, and that's going to be equal to, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply
the bracket.
the negative 3 by the t, and the negative 3 by the 5. That's going to be equal to, what?
Negative 3t.
13 minus
3t.
3 times t is
3t.
Yes, 3t. And the negative and a negative is negative and a positive is negative. So what is 3 times 5? That's what?
Negative 15.
Right, 15. Plus what?
Plus 40.
Plus 40. All we did was we brought down this 40 here. Next up, we're going to bring the t's
So we
together.
multiply the
No.
3 by everything in bracket.
No, we got to bring the t's together and say it again.
No. I mean, for the first step, we don't multiply the 3 by the set inside the bracket, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And then this is going to be equal to, we're going to bring all our t's together and then all our numbers together. So that's a very important notion. We have to combine like terms. So the 3t and the 4t we're going to bring together. So 4t and 3t we bring together. It's going to be equal to 4t minus 3t. And then we take the 13 and it's going to be plus 13. And we bring down the negative 15.
So why we didn't put the negative 15 before it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Once they together.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
We bring the 40s and the minus 3Ts together. We subtract those together.
Say it again.
I say we subtract 40 minus 3T for each, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to be equal to, well, 4t minus 3t is what?
T.
Or 1t, but 1t is simply t. And then 13 minus 15 is what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Sorry, question. If we write 1t, would that be incorrect?
What it says? It says Lakeisha?
Yes, sir.
I've been waiting here on you. It wouldn't be wrong, it just wouldn't be wrong, but it will be redundant. It's like
Right.
It's like okay, what is 5? We know 5 is equal to 5 times 1, right? You can imagine always writing 5 times 1 every time you're trying to write 5.
Okay, that's true.
But it's the same thing. It's 1t and 1t is t.
Okay.
So t minus 2. So are we good with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. Keep. No, I'm gonna still torture tonight.
Yeah, not tonight.
This is Monday, first day.
Oh, you say Monday?
Yeah, Monday, birthday.
Okay, I can look at that.
Take a look.
At the end of it.
Yeah, we can't do it now. We only have about 15 minutes left. Let's do this one. Yeah, this is good. All right, so the 5 stores and their headquarters of a city are shown in the coordinate plane below. Please draw the coordinate plane. So when you draw it, make sure that you start at 0 and you go all the way out to 10 and all the way downwards to -6, all the way upwards to +7, and all the way across to -10. Now, the headquarters is at the origin, and the coordinates of the origin is 0, 0. Star B, that's star A. Star A is at the point -8 and 4, right? -8 and 4. Star B is at the point 2 and 4. Star C is at the point 2 and -4. Star C is at star E rather is at the point 7 and -1. Okay, and so we have to look at this diagram and answer the following questions. So let's tuck this diagram away somewhere so that we can have it in front of us as we are answering these questions. Any mango in season? I feeling a mango.
Nope.
No,
No.
not at all. When they could be in season?
They need to hurry up.
Mangoes be like normally June, July.
June, July, all the way there. Wow.
Mama,
I know, right?
you're having a craving, Mr. Petit?
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
You may find the mangolas in the food store. That's about it.
They're ready, man. They ain't the same. Alright. Okay. Okay, so give the coordinates of the... We answered this question. Well, I said it, so it's a giveaway. Give the coordinates of the headquarters. If y'all was listening.
0. 0.
What is it?
0.
0.
What is
0,
it?
0, 0, 0.
Zero. Exactly.
I said 0, 0.
Oh, I just said 0. That's good. So the coordinate is 0, 0. The reason why I'm looking for 0, 0 is because it's a coordinate. It has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So 0, 0. That's the headquarters right there. The same point. Right there, what I'm going to highlight in red. That's the coordinate of the headquarters. 0, 0. Alright, so that's the headquarters 0, 0. Alright, so
Mr. Petit, don't change it yet, please. I still draw on the graph. I don't know why. I'm gonna ask.
the graph come in every question. So when I come
Okay, let me get the question, please. Thank you.
no problem.
Okay.
Finish? You say you ain't finished or you finish?
I ain't.
You are not. You were working on the graph still?
I was, but I write in the question, so.
Writing the question.
Thank you.
Oh. Oh. Nancy, just seen your message, you know. You want the recordings?
Mr. Petit, you don't rate me. I don't notice that. I don't bother you. See what? I don't.
No,
I think that's a good bad. How about you?
can I send it to your sister's phone?
Mr. Petit, I can't with you, please.
Oh, bye.
Please.
Oh, bye. You really like that? I literally just seen them.
Mr. Petite, after 6 to 8 or 6 to 9, you used to get me. Please stop it.
After 6 6 to 9. No man. These be right up there. As be I don't
Somewhere far off, man.
so bad. But when you send this though, you said you had to send this 6:56. That's recently, that's when. Just now, right?
Miss Petite, I didn't know send that random. I didn't send around 6 o'clock.
Okay, 6:56.
No way. I sent up before class.
Oh, my time on this phone is 1 hour ahead.
Oh goodness.
No, for real. No, like for real. I get like no, for real. I being serious this time. This phone is hour ahead for real. I can even show you a picture. So that's the truth. But times won't change anyway, so he'll be on good. Okay, so
Miss Petite, how long you been in there?
what? This one?
1 hour ahead.
It's just been it's from since I bought it. It's been an hour ahead. You know. Okay, so
Never tried to change it.
I didn't bother. So which two stores? I am so serious.
I quit drawing this graph. I done mess up and I ain't gonna draw back again.
Don't be discouraged. If you don't succeed the first time, try again. So which two stores are the
What?
same distance from the headquarters? What is these?
Star C and Star B and Star C.
Yeah, Star B and Star C. They are how much distance away? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units away, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units away. So Star B and Star C. And so when you get your phone fixed, Nancy, that'll make communication much faster.
My mother said she was coming back home next week, so when she comes home, I guess.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Because I really emailed saying, like, I'll get it.
I understand because you're 1 hour ahead, so everything is ahead. I understand.
Oh,
mercy.
Alright. Okay, alright. You win. That's a good one. Oh boy. Alright. Recordings. Okay, Isaac. Alright. Okay, so Star B and Star C. Alright, so what's the next question on that list? Let's say, so which two star keys? Name this dramatic was. Star D lies at the coordinate -5, 3. Label star D on the coordinate plane. Oh, okay. So I didn't even notice that they didn't put star D. So star D. Alright, so let's do this. So star D lies at the coordinates -5, 3. So where would D labeled as? Where's -5, 3?
On the head.
So the first coordinate always refers to the which axis?
X.
X-axis. and the second coordinate always refers to the
Why?
y. So when we say negative 5, 3, this is going to be negative 5 and 3, so it's going to be here. Okay, so first we figure what is it on the x, and then we have to go up to 3 on the y. So this is where store B is going to be. And so, of course, we have to label it on the coordinate plane. So it's going to be store D. Okay, so store D. Next up, they don't usually have these type of questions here. So this is it's a rare pull, but straightforward still, in my opinion. Store A moves 4 units to the right and 5 units down. Give the coordinates of the new location of store A. Store A moves 4 units to the right and 5 units down. Give the coordinates of the new location of store A. So let's go back here. So store A move 4 units to the right and 5 units down. So 4 units to the right. It's going to be...
That's -1.
It's going to be... Sorry, my apologies. Say -1?
Yeah.
4 units to the right.
On the x-axis.
So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 4 units to the right. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 5 units down. So it's going to be 1, 2,
No, that's -4.
3, 4, and 5. So the new coordinate is right there. So let's label this with highlight blue. So the new coordinates that we have is going to be what?
-4, -1.
-4 and -1. All right. Any questions on that?
Excuse me, Mr. Petit, you will go back to question B. My internet was acting up, so I didn't see the question and answer.
B. Star B and star C.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, no problem.
Could you go back to G, please?
Sure. Nancy, should I send a DS to start? and she can send it to you, or wanted to me to send you via email?
You could send it to my email, please.
Okay.
If you can, if it's a hassle, then you could send it to her. Only if it's a hassle.
Oh, you know, I sent you right now. Next thing I get accused of not caring. Alright. Anyone, so are we done with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is currently, I don't know how that time get like that, but it's currently 8:02. And so that means that we are done with math for this week. That was quick though. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. It's like, it happened so quickly, man. But yeah, we're done with maths for the week, and so we have to pick up with things back on next week. So hopefully I can see you all on next week. We start again on or at 6 p.m. As we normally do. And so for those who have the leave, who don't have arcade and who don't have social and arcade, you're free to leave. But for us who are doing social and arcade, we have unfinished business to take care of. And so with that, I say see you later for now, and I'll see you on next week. God's will. Good night.
Mr. T,
Yes, sir.
I have questions I need answers with all week.
Say it again.
I have questions that I need answers for. So I'll wait
You'll wait.
at the end.
You'll wait at the
If
end.
that's okay. Yeah.
Mr. T,
Yes, ma'am.
I could take a picture of the thing because I finally finished drawing and I put the things in it after this.
The what?
The graph.
I don't understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to say.
If I could take a picture of it.
Oh, okay. You want to take a picture of it? Okay. How much questions it is? One.
I think like 3
For what?
of math.
I mean,
I
like,
sent them to you.
you sent it to me. Let me see.
Yeah. It was for 4 classes. Around 5 o'clock.
You mean solve for x2 to the power of 3x? That?
I think so.
Yeah, I see it. These what you make up, or?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't mind waiting? You sure you want to wait?
What you mean?
I mean, I'm saying it's gonna be an hour or so.
I know.
Alright, okay. Alright, no problem. We can discuss it after. Alright. Okay, so we have some unfinished business that we have to take care of for history. Sorry, for social studies. So the last thing that we was on, we talked about open. Let's see, not farm project. There we go. The Basic. No, pick up where we left off. No, this is when we left off. We left off with the last time we was on Archie was John the Baptist, right? So it's social. So why in the world? So let's see. Let me see if I can. Let me see if we have it. Let's see if it's the same. Just specific. No. Okay. Then let's say that. Okay, good. So we did that, but okay, so we left talking about linguists, right? This is where we left off last class, right? How do we know about the Arawaks? So we left off talking about on last class. Um, and so we basically done with the chapter of Arawaks. So we moving steadily along. We finished successfully talking about. We finished giving the introduction. So if we were to, plow and talk about what we did so far, we started off by giving an introduction to the Bahamas, talking about its climate, talking about. In fact, I could show you all the notes that we covered, history notes. So we first started off by talking about. Let me see if we have it. Where are we? History notes. Good. So we first started out off talking about the Bahamas itself, 700 island and keys, the highest point. This is the first class. Like this is the beginning. We talk about the Bahamas climate, its population, all that good stuff. And then then it was time for us to talk about like what is history. Like, and we said history is not past itself, but history is basically his story, like the story of mankind through historians. And then we talk about all those things. We talk about like what we are actually doing in history and written records and certificate. How we could know the differences between different types of sources, photographs, paintings, and all those different stuff. We talked about those things. I don't know if y'all can remember, but those things we talked about.
Yes, sir.
Primary sources versus secondary sources. Primary sources are those that come from the period. Um, those are the sources that we consider to be most reliable. Like they come from the actual period itself. Then secondary sources is like someone writing about a period that happened in back when. So like a textbook or a book. And then we talked about the differences between BC, AD, and stuff like that. Then we began our journey about the Arawaks. We talked about, you know, how they got here, where they used to live, and how they came from South America, and and we also talk about their clothing, their diet, their um, their leadership, and all that stuff. How they got food, all that stuff, right? How they made hammocks, the cacique and his privileges, how religion was a part of their life, and they thought they had ideas of heaven, and they played ball games, and how religion and leisure was integrated, like they participated them in one. And then now the final thing that we did was we said, okay, well, how do we know about these Arawaks? How do we know what can give us clues about the Lucayans and how they lived and stuff like that? We talk about four ways. We talk about archaeological evidence. When you dust up those things and you dig and you find bones and pottery and stuff. We talk about written accounts, and we said that written accounts could be kind of queasy because it's like, do we really want to believe what the Spaniards said about them? And then we talked about anthropology, and anthropology is basically looking at the people who are actually here, who are descendants of the Arawaks, and saying, hey, they still wearing short clothes, they still painting their face. Maybe their parents used to do the same thing. And also linguists, right? The linguistic approach where we say, okay, well, where does this word come from? Where does this word come from? Well, this word comes from the Latin. This word comes from, this tribe used to use this word, yes. And so we link word origins to what they actually used to do and their habits. Now we move on to a great part, um, in our discussion. We're gonna be talking about Christopher Columbus and his arrival. That's a part of it. But even before Christopher Columbus, there was something that happened before Christopher Columbus that was very important for Christopher Columbus even to begin, right? And we had to have a revival of European exploration in a big way. There are certain things that happened that facilitated Christopher Columbus' journey? Number one, he needed a boat, right? He needed more than a boat. He needed a ship. He needed a ship that could undergo. Go ahead. Someone's saying something. Yeah. Oh, okay.
You can talk.
Yeah, he needed a ship that could undergo pressure, that could travel for a very long time. He needed a ship that was a engineering masterpiece, a ship that would be able to do carry luggage and carry load and sustain the people during that time. If he didn't have the ship, if he didn't have the technologies that he had on the ship, then he wasn't going to have a successful journey. So before Christopher Columbus could have even start his explorations, before that there was European exploration was beginning to become more and more pervasive, more and more big. And because of that, they're like, okay, we want to do more, we want to reach more, we want to go farther, we want to be more comfortable when we do it. So we need to make bigger and better ships. Not only that, we need to make better equipment so that we can know exactly where we're going. We can know the speed that we're going at, we can know the direction that we're going at, so we wouldn't be lost. And so this is what we're going to be talking about in this chapter. What motivated European exploration? Like, why did they decide to do it? And we kind of touched on it last week with our quizzes that you all failed miserably.
So what?
No, y'all didn't fail miserably. Y'all did pretty okay. All right, so let's begin with this one. So we're gonna take some notes with this one. Okay, so this is talking about European exploration. Where are we? This is still history notes. No, we are going to go on. So we're gonna head up properly. So today is Thursday. The subject is social studies. And the topic is
March.
Go ahead. Today's the February, right? Today's the third.
I was saying it's March.
Yes, it's March. Wow, things changed so far. The topic is the beginnings of European exploration. I'm just gonna say part 1. The beginning of European exploration, part 1.
Mr. Petit, don't start typing yet.
No, I start yet. You say don't start yet, or?
Don't start it. I like finish right now because I know you speed.
Anyway, in the 15th century, we talked about this last time. In the 15th century, Europeans' knowledge of the world had been what? Had been static. And we said what static means last week. Something that's static is static. It's what? Something that's static is what?
It was stand still, nothing happened.
Exactly, stand still, nothing happened, right? So Europeans' knowledge of the world had been static, right, for nearly 200 years. There wasn't much going on there, right? In the 13th century, Marco Polo had traveled to overland China. So I had traveled overland, sorry, to China India, and European trade as a result of what he did with these countries of the East was now well established. But so we tracking back. So in the 13th century, trade with the East was well established. Marco Polo traveled there to China and India, and things were going pretty okay in terms of trade with the Europeans and China and India. So they knew the routes, they knew how to trade with these countries. Now in the 11th century, so what they basically doing is that they giving you a little history on things leading up to the 15th century, like what happened before that. In 11th century, the Vikings had had probably reached America, but this had no lasting knowledge, or no lasting impact rather, on European knowledge. Of the real world. So even though we had some people doing some explorations even before say Christopher Columbus and the other people who did major explorations even before them, for example the Vikings, it is said that they reached America before these people reached there. But no one really cared with them like that. Like they didn't. It wasn't like a big significant thing like how it was with Christopher Columbus or say the other explorers when they arrived. I don't know why, but for some reason, the Vikings reaching to America did not really have no it didn't really affect European knowledge. Like maybe because the Vikings is like you know maybe they didn't popularize the message as much, or I don't know, but it didn't really have an impact of European knowledge of the wider world, even though they reached there. They arrived there. So the question is why? So this chapter really is important because it really hits home at motivations. Like why would they do this? So it says why then, right? Would why then did Europeans in the late 15th century begin to explore and discover new parts of the world? So that's the basic thesis of this, essay. Not really essay, but this chapter. Like we in this chapter we're gonna be seeing why the motivations what led the Europeans to try to discover new parts of the world, and also this is very important. This is also equally important. What had happened to make the voyages possible. So it's one thing to want to go. It's another thing to actually be able to go, like from a monetary standpoint, from money standpoint, and also from a technology standpoint. Do you have the resources, the manpower, the equipment to actually make these long voyages? And I would say these long, mysterious voyages, because you're venturing into the unknown. You don't know. So we basically are going to go into inquiry of motives, like why in the world, why are we trying to find a new route? All right, so why seek a new route? Why seek a new route by sea? Why are we doing this? Now, a natural reason is that, you know, the ones that are by land are blocked, right? So that's a clear one. That's a clear reason. Like, why we gonna seeking a new route by sea? Well, maybe it's because the ones that we could use by land are being blocked, or maybe it's because we want our own route. Like, we want our own, we want our own route that we could, say, hey, this is what we found. We found it first, so nobody else go on this, this route. This is our route. And that's exactly the reasons right there. Number one, the land route was blocked, and number two, countries just like, we want to find our own route. And so it says here in the 15th century, spices were very important for preserving and giving taste to food, especially what do we use to preserve food? Sorry, my bad. What thing
So,
needs to be what article of food needs to be heavily preserved?
Meat.
Meat, especially meat.
meats.
So these spices,
Meats.
yeah, meat, definitely. These spices, along with other goods, we saw these last week, other goods, such as rice. Oh, my bad, the major one, silk, rice, perfumes, and gems came from the Far East. So why you see why we needed to get to the East? Or why we needed to trade with them at least? Because we getting the goods, man. We getting the things that we need. We need spices to preserve our meat. We need all the niceties. The silk, the rice, the perfumes, the gems. They coming from the East. And so we need to trade with them at least, or we need to at least find some territory in the East that we could make ours so that we could have these, spices and gems and all those stuff. All right, so again, we still looking at why we seeking a new route by sea, and we still looking at the motivations behind it, and still looking at what happened to make sure that took place. So it says merchants brought them. We're talking about the same spices and goods and stuff. Merchants brought them overland, right, through the Middle East to Europe. So they could get them, using land routes. And what was the name of the route the infamous name of that route that they used to trade, that they used to travel to trade on?
Middle Passage.
And what was called we talked about it last week, the Silk. Remember the Silk Route? You can remember that?
Yes, sir.
The Silk Route. That's a part of our multiple choice questions. But now this route, right? This route had been closed to European merchants by the arrival. Anyone remember what caused it to be closed? By the arrival of
The Ottoman Turks.
very good. Wow, Kennedy. That's some serious memory. The arrival of a new power in the Middle East called the Ottoman Turks. So there was a new sheriff in town, and they shut things down. So in modern day, so we're given a description of where it is today. In modern day, Istanbul, a major crossroads of east-west trade. Why did they do it? Well, they wanted the trade route for themselves. Now, so that's why, they did that. Oh my goodness. I missed a very important part. I supposed to say in 1453, my apologies. In 1453, the Turks conquered Constantinople. A major crossroads of the east-west trade. They wanted the trade routes for themselves. Okay. All right. Now, I want to measure continue. Okay, let's do one more paragraph and then we can end. So Europeans wanted to keep trade links and also thought that something else could be gained from India, China, and Japan. And what are those things? Gold, silver, and precious stones. And essentially, the reason is that people hoped to get rich. We'll leave it right there. I'm not going to continue right there. So this is basically one of the major, motivations that started it all. Of course, they wanted to keep their, the trade going on between themselves and the countries of the East. But they really wanted to get rich, and that's one of the reasons why. Of course, Christopher Columbus, he loved exploration, but I mean, he didn't just love exploration for exploration's sake, right? There's a goal in mind. You know what I mean? He want to increase himself in wealth, right? And so that was one of the major reasons why they tried to find a new route by sea. And they also wanted to, especially the king and queen, they wanted to expand their territory. More territory means more people. More people means hopefully you get more revenue. And so that's the thing. Also more power as well. So that was the thing. Okay, so that's it for Social studies. Any questions for me before we sign off on this one?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right.
No, sir.
Okay. I know we didn't have the quiz today, but hopefully y'all can forgive me on that.
So we have the next time we meet for social studies.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, I'll be prepared.
All right, that's good. That'll be good. All right. Nice. All right, so let's go to RK. The last thing we did in RK was John. Talked a lot about John. John was an interesting person, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would made him unique.
He baptized Jesus.
Okay, I like that. He baptized Jesus. That's a strong one. I was looking for something else though, but that's a very strong one that you made. What was different about John compared to everybody else? What was different about him?
He how he used to eat and dress.
Yeah, how he used to eat and dress. He ate locusts and wild
Wild honey.
right? That's definitely different than what other people used to be eating. They used to have their big plates of food, scrumptious meals, tables filled, right? But he had a simple diet, right? His clothes was simple as well, and he had a straight message, all right? And even where he used to live, John the Baptist don't get the impression John the Baptist had a house. He his how the household of his mother and father was definitely open to him. Like they didn't kick him out and put him on the streets. This is something that John chose to do. John chose to live in the wilderness. Would any of y'all choose to live in the wilderness? In the desert?
No.
No.
Mosquito.
Yeah.
Mosquito bugs.
Mosquito, bugs, right? Not only mosquito and bugs. In them wilderness deserts you face with lions and it's cold in the night.
The heat, and the
Yeah.
heat in the day.
Heat in the day and then the nights are
Well, in the night.
right.
And they got the Mediterranean heat too.
The nights are
Ooh.
very cold. So, but John the Baptist, the reason why he went to be alone was because he did not want to be distracted or influenced by his surroundings. And so that's why he decided to be alone. And he had a very important work that he had to do. Okay, so that was the reason why he, went alone. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the baptism of Jesus for the day. So baptism of Jesus. So today is...
You read any Bible thing?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Miss Cooper. Say Bible thingy. You mean Bible verses. Say Bible thingy. Alright. Alright, so I like to end off the week with RK, man. It's a very nice chill thing. So baptism of Jesus. So today is March, eh? March the 3rd, 2022. And so we're talking about the baptism of Jesus. The scripture reading is taken from Matthew chapter 3 still, but from 13 to 17. And I want some readers, please. There's only about 4 verses. So
I'll read.
you want to read Miss Cooper? Alright, good. Kennedy, can you read for us?
All right.
Alright, Matthew chapter 3, verse 13 to 17. Let me G and T. All right, so let's go.
Can you zoom in more so I can see properly, please?
Sure. So you and Cooper are gonna take it one verse at a time. So Cooper 13, you 14, and so on.
Okay.
So go ahead.
At the time Jesus arrived from Galilee and came to John at the Jordan to be baptized by him.
But John tried to make him change his mind. I ought to be baptized by you, John said, and yet you have come to me.
But Jesus answered him, "Let it be so for now. For in this way we shall do all that God requires." So John agreed.
As soon as Jesus was baptized, he came up out of the water. Then heaven was opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God coming down like a dove and lighting on him.
Then a voice said from heaven, "This is my own dear son, with whom I am pleased."
All right, very good. So this is the baptism of Jesus. Someone is asking to join. Please, Friday. So this is the baptism of Jesus, and just to show you some pictures, they have this thing all laid out for us. These are some images of the baptism of Jesus. What is happening in this image? I like this one. What could we see?
The heavens open up and then the dove flew down, and then God is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased.
Very good. Very good. Right? That was dramatic, right? Okay, I like this one. This is a very good picture. We see that Jesus is going down under the water and coming what?
Back up.
And coming back up. Okay. So that was the perfect picture. So let's put this picture here. And a next picture to go aside that would be, we could use this one. And we see the dove, the Holy Spirit comes in the form of a dove resting upon him. Okay, so these are some other pictures of it. Now this picture, what's wrong with this picture? I don't know if y'all can see. Is anything wrong with it? Or everything okay?
What are people crying? Or pray?
This is
They
another
cried or pray?
This is another one that's wrong also. This one is wrong. This one is wrong. What's wrong with this one? This one is clearly wrong. Hopefully y'all can see this one.
Them clock, them.
The reason why
Clock.
no, I mean it's
In a church?
no, it's wrong because alright, so what
He baptized look like fire and it's supposed to be water.
no, okay. What is he pouring on his head?
Oh, I
Fire
can see.
blood?
No, that's water. You can see the water, that's water, right?
I could barely see this picture.
I could barely see that.
Like, that's water. If you look out,
Oh,
that's water, right? So the reason why that's wrong is because if we look at what the Bible says, it says that what? It says that where it says as soon as Jesus was baptized, he came up out of the water. So if he came up out of the water, that means he had to first go down, eh?
So that means it was submerged in the sand,
So
sprinkle.
it wasn't no sprinkling thing. It was a dip. Okay? And so that's how Jesus baptized. So Jesus baptized using the method of immersion. Okay, so immersion. Alright, ooh, just huge. Okay, so that's
Wait.
good. All right, so with that being said, let's begin with the notes. So we're gonna begin with, let me put these down. We don't need these pictures right now. So we're gonna begin with a definition of baptism. Hopefully we get through everything tonight. Baptism, by definition, is a Christian ritual. You have to know this definition, okay? It's a Christian ritual.
I remember.
A Christian ritual involving water to show that one has what? Been converted to Christianity. Alright, that's what this text defines baptism as. So another definition of baptism is that it's a outward expression of an inward grace. That's also another definition. In our syllabus, they define 3 types of baptism. All right, 3 types of baptism. Even though me personally, I only believe that there's one way that's right. But in the course, they outline 3 types of baptisms or forms of baptisms that are practiced. Right. So the first one.
I only see one.
You only see one. It depends on what church you go to. So the church you go to plays a huge part on which ones you see. So the first form is of course immersion. And of course immersion means the person is what?
Fully covered in water, or their body fully goes under the water.
Exactly. So the person is completely covered by water. Right? And by the way, this is the way Jesus was baptized. And the second one is sprinkling. And sprinkling is the water is what? Is sprinkled.
Sprinkles.
Over the head of the person. And the third way is pouring. The water is poured over the head of the person. Now, pouring and sprinkling usually happens in
Catholic churches.
Yeah, Catholic churches, and they do that to infants, right? So 2 forms of baptism is they have what we would call, so there are 2 forms of baptism. The first one is, so they are adults and infant baptism. All right. So I'm just telling you what the text says, right? What this source that I'm using says. But to be technical, personally, I don't believe that there's such a thing as infant baptism because, they're too young.
To me, to
I don't understand.
To me, they're too young.
I don't know.
But that is what the text says. So, of course, in the exam, they expect you to know and be able to articulate what the syllabus says. But like I said, personally, I really only believe in adult baptism, or not even adult. The person don't believe in be adult once they are
At
of
least
age.
know something about
Yeah,
God or
once
something.
they know, like once they ain't like completely unaware of what's happening.
And it's when you reach the age 12, that's when you are accountable for your soul, I think.
I wouldn't say. I mean, I heard that a lot. People say that the age of 12 is the age of accountability, but you have so much people, so much young children. They by 12. I mean, by 12 they almost adults. You know,
Swear.
like they are really. I talking about. I know some. I talking about you have 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds who they know what they doing. Trust me, don't mind. Anyway, so let's continue with the notes. So let's talk about Jesus' baptism. So Jesus is baptized. So for Jesus' baptism, we have so what how old Jesus was when he was baptized?
30?
30. He was 30 years old when he got baptized. So Jesus was baptized at the age of 30 years old. 30. By who?
John the Baptist.
By his cousin, John the Baptist. Where?
The Jordan River.
At the Jordan River. Right? So there's a lot of things going on now. His age when he was baptized. Who baptized him? His cousin. And where he got baptized. Jordan River. Now when he was baptized, um, a number of phenomenal occurrences took place. So what happened when Jesus was baptized? So as Jesus is baptized, what happened? Number one, the heavens opened. Number two, the Holy Spirit came down upon him in the form of what the one?
Dove.
Number three, a voice from heaven. That was God the Father. Acknowledge what? Acknowledge Jesus as his son.
Beloved.
And gave him and gave what? Approval of him. That's wonderful, right? So God the Father saying, this is my son. Way to go. Keep up the good work. You're my son, and I'm cheering you on. Keep it up. You're doing what I asked you to do. You know what I mean? That's really comforting. So Jesus must have been very happy when his father said those words of commendation. Now there's different things we have going on. The cloud represents the glory and the presence of God. The other time, or we say the only other time, that the voice of God the Father the only time when the voice of God the Father spoke was when
Jesus
the
Christ.
time when we hear the voice of God the Father speaking. That was when. Anyone can remember? That was at.
This is my son. Oh,
Yeah, when we hear again the voice of God the Father speaking. It was at the Transfiguration. That was when Jesus turned all white. You know?
Oh, yeah.
and painters really got the essence of it.
Yeah, they really got the
Oh,
essence.
yeah.
Yeah.
You gone blind or?
Okay, these two persons are who? Let me remember.
Elijah and Moses.
Elijah.
And Moses.
Yeah. Kennedy, you know your stories well.
Little, because I get mixed up which one is law and which one is representing the prophets.
Ah, exactly. The law one definitely is Moses. And the prophets is Elijah. So God the Father spoke was during Jesus is what?
Transfiguration.
Transfiguration. Okay. Now we're gonna end with these. So the reasons why Jesus was baptized. So what are the reasons why Jesus was baptized? Remember, Jesus did not need to be baptized, technically, because baptism is a symbol that I've done something wrong and I'm repenting of it. Jesus did nothing wrong, so why was he baptized?
Was it to start his ministry or?
To begin his public ministry, that's the reason. The strongest one or major one is to be an example, right? Remember, Jesus is an example for every one of us. So we are to follow in his footsteps, like Peter said. So he got baptized to be an example for us. He got baptized also to begin his public ministry.
Sounds early, but okay.
Say it again. Okay. He also got baptized to show that he approved of what? John the of the work, and message of John the Baptist. Remember, John the Baptist says that someone else is coming whose shoes I am unworthy to unlash, right? So he got baptized to show that he approved the work and message of John the Baptist. That they are not on a different side, they are on the same side. He also got baptized to this is one to be able This is an interesting one. This is a deep one. To be able to impute. Let me see how I can say it. To be able to give a person credit for his baptism in times when their baptism would not be possible. So what do you mean by that? Anyone understand? What do I mean by the fourth one? To give a person credit for his baptism in times when their baptism would not be possible.
To say that someone baptized him when he never.
Repeat the question, Liz.
I'm saying that a reason why Jesus got baptized was to give people credit for his baptism when their baptism would not be possible. What do I mean by that?
When John the Baptist ain't there anymore?
No.
It was to give a reason as to why they should repent.
No. Okay, you remember the thief on the cross? Remember the thief on the cross?
Huh?
Remember there was a thief on the cross. He was on the side of Jesus, right? When he
So,
was about to die. So the thief on the cross. He said to Christ, remember me when you come into your kingdom, right? So one of the thieves said, sir, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Christ said that, hey, today you're with me in paradise. So Christ forgave him, gave him another opportunity to be saved. But the problem is that this thief on the cross, he had done a lot of bad stuff. So he technically needed to be baptized. Technically. But it was impossible for him to be baptized. Why?
Because he needed dead. And
he about to die.
He about to die. Exactly. He's literally on the cross. So therefore, Jesus' baptism would be appropriated on his behalf. You understand what I'm saying? Because he is, you understand?
You can explain more.
Like, he is unable to be baptized. So when God looks at him, God doesn't see his baptism because, of course, his baptism never happened because it's impossible for him to get baptized. But when he come to God in Jesus' name, God is going to give him credit as if he was baptized, but he's going to use Jesus' baptism in his place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that. So.
Oh, that what the sentence say.
Yeah. To be able to give a person credit for his baptism, Jesus' baptism, in times when their baptism would not be possible. Okay?
I slow it?
No, it's not slow. It just had
Nah, you ain't slow.
No, you just had to explain it a bit. Alright. Alright, so that's it for the night. That's it. So I will see you guys on
Monday.
Very thankful for those who pulled through for all, for the entire week. Thank you so much. It means a whole lot. I hope that that these nights are not in vain, that you study and that you apply yourself so that you can be able to do well. With that being said, have a wonderful night. Love you all much, Kennedy. And take care.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Well, you send me. Wait, no, never mind. Maybe I'll make it send it. Never
Yeah.
mind. Good night.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Hey.